We are 3 events in to the 2021 Marble Champions League, and it is anybody's game as we begin event number 4. This is mini golf. Welcome everybody into today's event. I'm Keanu Beardsley, glad to be here with you for today's event, presented always by Marble Fubica here as we look inside our grand arena. As always, large gathering of fans supporting their teams, all going for that cup right there in the middle of today's event. And there are the overall standings on your side. It's a two-way tie between Oris 1 and the Steel Brothers at 35 points. Third place is the Snow Wolves. The Vikings are fourth. The Janitors and the Trojans are tied for fifth. After the Janitors were in the lead going into the last event, they failed to make it to the group stage, and so they fall back a little bit. Today's event, mini golf. An interesting one. The teams are ready. The fans are ready. Are you ready? This is event number 4 of the 2021 Marble Champions. Welcome to mini golf. You see our greens, if you will. There's point variations depending on where you're going to finish here. And of course, some distance will factor in as well. There's the Plinko board style obstacle at the beginning of this course, just out of the starting gate. Make your way down through a couple of funnels and through as you have a look at the groups for today's event. As always in the Marble Champions League, the groups change from event to event. We'll start with Group A today. It's Flush, Lynx Rufus, the Archangels, and Swiftblade, and they are off. And the first one down, there's 4 points. There is 7. Let's see what happens with the last one. The Archangels, they will not score. Lynx Rufus picks up 7 points with a distance of 84. 4 more points as we'll have a look at the replay here. For Flush, they're the 2 to advance. The Archangels and Swiftblade failing to score here. Again, points above all else. You see the first one down were Flush, and they took advantage of it, scoring 4 points, just missing the 2 were Swiftblade. Either way, it would not have been enough, as the 7 points and the 4 from Lynx Rufus and Flush were enough to get them through to the next round. So they're advancing to the first semifinal, and they will take on the 2 advancers from our second group, Group B today. Again, you have a winner of the group stage, and then you also have a transfer spot, able to advance 2 teams. Here's Group B, the Sphery Spiders, the Savage Jackal, the Blue Jackets, and one of our leaders, the Steel Brothers. They are down. We have a 10. We might have another 10. Close to it is the Savage Jackal. They'll fall back. They will not score, but they will advance as the Sphery Spiders pick up 10 points. And the Savage Jackal, by way of distance, are going to advance over the Steel Brothers and the Blue Jackets, who struggled mightily. You can see them all the way back at the initial M at the beginning of the green period. The greens were not kind that time to the Blue Jackets. Let's have a look at the replay and see what happened. The Sphery Spiders had an uninterrupted view of the 10 points. They score it there. The Sphery Spiders didn't quite score, but you can see there, almost had it. But they finished with enough distance to advance into our first semifinal. So the Savage Jackal through, as are the Sphery Spiders, who dominated. Here into Group C, it's the Vikings, one of our leaders, Oris 1, the Trojans, and the Onyx. Strong grouping here. There's 4 points, there's a 10. Let's see what happens at the end. That looks like 7 more, and no score from Onyx, so they will not advance. Neither will Oris 1. The Trojans pick up 7 to advance, and the Vikings, a second straight team to score all 10 points in this group stage, as they go a distance of 135. Scoring 10 points and advancing into semifinal B. We'll have another look at it here. You can see everybody kind of slowly made their way down the Plinko board. And again, first one out, uninterrupted view of the longest target, and it was a perfect shot from the Vikings to score those 10 points. The Trojans rolled into a 7, which bests Oris 1's 4. No points for Onyx, so they were an automatic out essentially there. As we make our way into our final group, this first portion of each tournament, the group stage, dropping our teams from the 16 that we start with down to 8, and then the 4 into the finale. Group D will have some at the top, some at the bottom. Janitors, who have an event win and were very strong, drop back to 5th, and then all the way down to Tatu Bola. They're the worst team out there as well, the Snow Wolves and the Speedy Hunters. The Speedy Hunters are close. They will not get enough distance, though, to score. The Janitors and Tatu Bola advancing the Speedy Hunters, and the Snow Wolves will not advance through this group stage, as they will place in toward the bottom of the standings for today's event. Let's have a look, and let's see what Tatu Bola, the tan marble, can do here. Oh man, almost lipped into a 2 and ricocheted right into a 7. And the 8 points scored there from the Janitors. So pretty strong run, and then the other two unable to even score any points whatsoever, let alone trying to advance. Pretty easy win there. An advancement for those two teams, as you have a look now at our full semifinals, A and B. And the other 8 teams that do not advance from the group stage, so they fall into that bottom tier as we move into the first semifinal. Savage, Jackals, Fury, Spiders, Lynx, Rufus, and Flush. Let's see who will advance into the finale. There's a 7. There's another 7. Do we get more points? No, the Savage, Jackal, and the Fury, Spiders cannot score. Lynx, Rufus, and Flush advancing. You can see here, as you look at the replay, they had a chance. The two that were unable to score had their opportunity. There's an easy 7 and another easy 7, but right there, if it was a little bit stronger, the Savage Jackal had a chance. Even on a ricochet, potentially maybe 8 points could have gone for the Sphery Spiders, so they had an opportunity as well. But neither could score, and so they automatically unable to advance here. Which means that our first half of the finale is set. You see it on the big board. As we get ready for semifinal B. And here they are. Tatu Bola, the Janitors, the Vikings, and the Trojans. This is a pretty heavy metal group here. There is 10 points for the Janitors. Does anybody else score? The answer is no from both the Trojans and Tatu Bola. All the way down at the bottom, though, 4 points for the Vikings. They sneak through to the finale. Not a strong run at all for the Vikings. They only went a distance of 54, but they were able to score, which is ultimately that tiebreaker. That's what you want to do, is score points first of all. The Janitors score 10 easily, but nothing from the Trojans or Tatu Bola. They will fail to advance into the final. I said it was easy, but it didn't look actually that easy on the replay there for the Janitors. They had to work for with a couple of ricochets to get those 10 points and advance into the finale. So great job by them, and doing just enough for the Vikings to advance into the final, giving themselves a chance to maybe redeem not a great semifinal run there, but a chance to advance into the final and maybe redeem themselves with a win or a strong showing in the final, as they'll join Lynx, Rufus, Flush, and the Janitors. They are ready to go. Here is the finale of mini golf, and they are off. First one down is going to be the Lynx, Rufus. They are up there. Let's see if we get any scoring. We might not get any. Here's an 8 for Flush, and it's going to do it. Flush is going to win. They're the only team to score. They take the gold. And by way of distance, it's a silver for the Lynx, Rufus, bronze for the Vikings, and the Janitors, who end up way back at the front of the green, they will finish in 4th. They do not medal after making it into the final, but a strong bounce back for them. Let's have a look at the replay. It was nearly a complete shutout, which we haven't seen at all. This is the first time we've seen 3 fail to score. You can see just a denial there from the flag in the hole of the 2. And let's have a look at a couple of bouncing around and a helpful spin there, a little bit of a twirl from Flush to get into the 8-hole and advance, or I guess not advance, but rather win themselves a gold medal. So Flush really showed themselves to be productive today. They are the winners. Lynx, Rufus, the Janitors, and the Vikings all unable to score in the final round, and so they shuffle out based on distance. Here are the results from today's event. 20 points to Flush. Lynx, Rufus picks up 17, 15 for the Vikings. The Janitors finish 4th, and the Series Spiders, off of the tiebreakers there, will finish in 5th, all the way down to the Blue Jackets, who finish in last in today's event. So we have a look at the overall standings. New leader, it is Flush. They pick up their first gold. They become the 4th different winner in 4 events, and they take a 1-point lead over the Vikings, who have not won a gold. They haven't won a silver, but they've won 2 out of the 4 bronzes, so they move into 2nd place with 46 points. And as we are 4 events in, things start to get a little more interesting, and not necessarily clearer as you would expect, but rather a little foggier as we go further into this event. 3rd place goes to the Vikings. Congratulations to them. Congrats to the Lynx Roughest. They pick up a 2nd place victory, and they now have 46 points. But today, everybody aspires to be Flush, not only because they won, but because they also take over 1st place overall in the standings. So congratulations to them, as we are now 4 events into the 20... 4 different events and 4 different winners in the 2021 Marble Champions League so far. This season could not be more wide open as we get into event number 5 of this season. Glad to be here again, folks. Keanu Bittersicki for Marble Fubica. Everybody competing again for that cup, as always, as we have a look inside of our gigantic stadium. Here's the overall standings. Flush, after getting their first gold, our 4th different winner in 4 events. They hold a 1-point lead over the Vikings, who have not placed better than 3rd, but they've done it twice. They're the only team to medal in the same spot multiple times so far this year, earning a couple of bronzes, and that has moved them just 1 single point behind the lead. As you have a look at our course for today's event, very similar to our event from last time. Have that Plinko style board. Should be a fun one. The teams are ready, the fans are ready. Are you ready? This is event number 5 of the 2021 Marble Champions League. This is pinball. Have a look at our groupings here for today's event. As you know by now, each event has different groups, still the same style, groups A, B, C, and D. Top 2 from each will advance to the semifinals. Top 2 from each semifinal make it to the finale. Groups change every time. We will start with Group A, which today is the Steel Brothers, the Janitors, the leaders, the Flush, and the Snow Wolves. Down they go, making their way. And let's see what the scoring ends up as. You get scores based off of where you're hitting. And you can see there, it's based off of how far you're going. And then if you land in those certain big spots there, that's going to either increase or decrease your score. The Steel Brothers and the Janitors advance. Let's have a look again. And as we kind of make our way through this course and kind of figure out exactly how it's going to run, have a look at the replay and see how we got to where we got. So you can see there, they're going to ricochet off of those barriers in the middle. You want to avoid those negatives and maybe land on the positives if you can. The Flush scored 79 points because of the distance they went. So they're eliminated. As were the Snow Wolves there. So the Steel Brothers and the Janitors advance. So that first group kind of showing you exactly how this is going to happen. The rest of the groups know exactly what to do now. You want to get as far as possible. Group B is Swiftblade, the Spheri Spiders, the Trojans, and the Blue Jackets. Down they go. Looks like a big opportunity for the Blue Jackets. They kind of have an issue. And in the corner, we're going to have a couple of scores that will be good. It'll be Swiftblade with 113, the Trojans with 111. They're advancing as the Blue Jackets and the Spheri Spiders are eliminated. It's about as far as you can go for Swiftblade and the Trojans. And you can't go a whole lot less than the Spheri Spiders did. Nobody landing in either a positive or negative spot. So it's really just based off of how far each marble able to carry its distance. And so far, that's worked out for Swiftblade and the Trojans. Hard contact there for the Spheri Spiders directly into one of those pylons there, and that really stalled any momentum whatsoever. Caused them not only to not advance, but rather to finish in last. So a disappointment for them. They will not advance. And our first semifinal is set up as Swiftblade and the Trojans advance from Group B. Group C today is the Vikings, Tatu Bola, Onyx, and Oris 1. First one down are going to be the Vikings. Can they do something? Yes, they can. Looks like a pretty strong run everywhere. Is there a plus 20? Not quite. And did the the Vikings, excuse me, did they advance? The answer is no. Tatu Bola with 110 points. 108 for Onyx. They advance over the Vikings 107. Wow, what a crazy round that one is. Incredibly close. A little bit too much in terms of speed there, it looks like, from the Vikings. Actually ends up costing them, as at the end there you can see there's the pass made at the last moment. Boy, is that close. Just enough to eliminate the Vikings and advance the Onyx. They're into the second semifinal. And our final group today, Group D, as always, you know that. But today, Group D is going to consist of the Savage Jackal, the Lynx Rufus, the Speedy Hunters, and the Archangels. And let's see what happens. Looks like a couple of hard contacts made. Uh-oh, maybe a negative 40 for the Savage Jackal. Is it enough to keep them alive? The answer might be yes. Let's have a look. It is. So a loss of 40 points for the Savage Jackal because of where they landed. It's still enough for them to advance. They beat out the Archangels 65-51. Lynx Rufus scores 113. And they advanced pretty easily anyway. It was a score of 105 for the Savage Jackal before you take away the 40 that they lost. As you have a look at the replay here, not close for the Speedy Hunters, ran directly into a pylon. Let's look there. A little bit of contact, in fact. It was the Lynx Rufus that kind of sent the Savage Jackal into that negative 40 spot, but they were able to hold on. Despite losing 40 points, they still advance by 14 into the second semifinal. So our semifinals are set, 8 teams down, 8 teams to go. And the first semifinal here, Swiftblade, the Trojans, the Janitors, and the Steel Brothers. Janitors have been a strong competitor. Can they continue that here? Top to advance. Let's see. Might have some scoring. There's a negative 25. It's going to go back. Maybe they'll pick up plus 30. Will they? The answer is no. But it's still enough to get it done. The Steel Brothers pass the Janitors at the last moment. They advance to the final, joining the Trojans, who scored 113. 94 for the Steel Brothers. They beat them out by 7 points over the Janitors. 43 way back with Swiftblade. We'll have a look at the replay here and kind of see what happened with Swiftblade. Yep, pretty hard contact there with that first pylon. And boy, I'll tell you what, the Janitors and the Steel Brothers all over plussing and minusing their scores. Ultimately, neither landed on a bonus or a negative. And it just happened to be a last-minute pass by the Steel Brothers to advance to the final. So how about that one? Because again, there's a good chance we're going to end up with a first-time winner. Swiftblade, the Janitors, Horus 1, and Flush are the winners through our first 4 events, and so there's a pretty good chance with what we're looking at that you're going to end up with, again, another first-time winner through these 5 events. Here's semifinal B. Onyx, Savage Jackal, Lynx Rufus, Tatu Bola. Who will advance? Hard contact a couple of times there. All the way back, maybe a negative 40 going to come and play. How about that move by Onyx? They will get it done. 113. The Savage Jackal with a score of 112. Another strong run for them. Again, they lost that 40 points in their group stage, but again, a strong run down all the way to the end. Tatu Bola scores over 100, yet they failed to advance with a score of 101. And the Lynx Rufus struggling there. They scored just 40 points, and so an easy maybe an easier pill to swallow there. They almost landed on the spot that automatically eliminates you. But either way, they were done, and pretty significantly. They were over 70 points behind the next closest, or behind where they needed to be to try to advance into the final. So the Trojans, the Steel Brothers, the Onyx, and the Savage Jackal, we will have another first-time winner in event number 5 of the 2021 Marble Champions League. There are the winners. See up on your screen there. And here we go, the finale. The Trojans trying to get it done. They have been successful mostly throughout this year, but they have not had a win. And they're not going to get it here. Who will? Is it the Savage Jackal? Here come the Onyx at the last moment. They are going to run out of room, and it's the Savage Jackal that will win it with 105 points. The Steel Brothers take silver by a single point. 104 for them. Bronze goes to the Onyx. They pick up 98 points, and the Trojans struggling there in the finale. They score just 49. They'll take 4th place in today's event. Let's have a look at the replay and see how it shook out. Pretty close there at the end. For a second, I thought the Onyx might pull it out and just roll their way to a victory. In fact, they made pretty hard contact with that middle pylon there, but still able to just have a solid, slow roll. The Savage Jackal very nearly landed again in the -40 spot, which would have cost them, but ultimately just not enough speed there from the Onyx Marble to be able to continue past the 100 part. So the Savage Jackal, they are the winners. Congratulations to them. They become our 5th different winner in 5 different events, as they win pinball here, event number 5 of the 2021 Marble Champions League. Congratulations to them. Up on your screen now, the results from today's event. They pick up 20 points. The Steel Brothers finish 2nd, Onyx 3rd, Trojans 4th. Tatu Bola kind of picking it up here as they finish in 5th, all the way down to the Spheri Spiders. They do not pick up a point after finishing in last in the overall standings now for the season. After we calculate in today's event, the Steel Brothers, they retake the lead, and it's a 3-point advantage over the Vikings. Let's see what we can get from the Savage Jackal. They move up to 6th. They're just 6 points behind. But it's the Steel Brothers, the Vikings, and the Flush right now all atop the leaderboard in what is still a very tight, very wide open competition. Congrats to the Onyx after a 3rd place finish. They get up to 38 points. Still a long way to go for them, but they're getting a little bit better. The Steel Brothers, after another silver, they are now your overall standings leaders. But today, everybody aspires to be the Savage Jackal. They get the win with a gold medal performance in pinball. And they put themselves maybe in a driver's